Ethiopia, once a free nation that stood against European colonialism, now finds itself at a crossroads. With the dawn of the new millennium, Ethiopia is going through one of the harshest periods in its modern history. The war with its newly emerged neighbor, the state of Eritrea, has been raging for nearly 2 years now, and no end appears to be in sight. The strain on the war-torn economies of both nations grows with every passing month. In 2000, Ethiopia is a poor, war-strained, overwhelmingly agrarian state, one that strives to present itself as a rising regional power, while still carrying the weight of underdevelopment, drought, and tight one-coalition rule. Politically, it is a federal republic, but in practice, it is dominated by the EPRDF under Prime Minister Meles Zenawi. Freedom House classifies Ethiopia as partly free, a designation that offers at least some hope for liberalization. The country is extremely poor and mostly rural. Agriculture accounts for roughly half of GDP, around 90% of exports, and approximately 80% of all employment. Coffee sits at the center of this economy. It contributes around 10% of GDP, and more than 15 million people depend on the sector for their livelihoods. Growth is stagnant. What little capital exists is being consumed by the war. With a literacy of 35%, a population of roughly 65 million, and a life expectancy of just 46 years, Ethiopia can be described as a vast country with a very young population, weak human development, and limited governmental reach outside major urban centers like Addis Ababa and Adama. And it is in this fragile, straining state that the largest country of the African Horn has entered the second millennium. For Ethiopia, the 20th century ended the way it had begun, with a war. Just as the country had once fought the Italian Empire, it was now fighting Eritrea, though the world was paying far less attention this time. After the Eritrean War of Independence, which lasted roughly for 3 decades, Ethiopia and Eritrea once again found themselves in open military conflict. The war had started in 1998, a town called Badme. A dispute so small that foreign diplomats struggled to explain it to their governments, and so consequential that 2 of Africa's poorest nations had been bleeding each other dry for 2 years trying to resolve it. By January 2000, an estimated 70,000 people had been counted as casualties. The border had not been moved. After Eritrea gained its independence and the Red Sea shoreline with it, in 1993, Ethiopia officially became a landlocked country. All trade now ran through a port of Djibouti, a country the size of a rail station. Overnight, Ethiopia had become the most populous landlocked nation on earth. This was not a situation the elites in Addis Ababa had anticipated when they signed off on Eritrean independence a decade earlier. And yet, Ethiopia's problems were not the worst in the room. To the east, Somalia had not had a functioning government since 1991. What remained was a collection of factions and territories that called themselves states because no one had the authority to tell them otherwise. Addis Ababa watched this with the particular attention of a neighbor who knows that a fire next door is still a fire. But that was tomorrow's problem. Today, there was Eritrea.